Hello there, I'm Vaya, and welcome to Clover. This game was recommended by Satoshi, and it's been a while since we played a VN, so I was excited when I saw the recommendation. Let's get into it. Far from the bustling towns is a quaint countryside, full of sprawling meadows and skies, dotted with massive clouds. In this field lives a group of Minima, who are tiny people, just as big as one's thumb. They live in every nook and cranny, on every blade of grass, and so on. They're everywhere and nowhere at the same time. There are myths passed down through the Minima people that fairies used to live in these fields too, before humans arrived. In fact, there are also rumors that the Minima are direct descendants of fairies. Not many of them believe this. The fairies from the stories feel like a distant memory. In the small village of Lily is a headstrong and determined girl named Clover. She holds these stories near and dear to her heart. Now that it's finally the summer solstice, she's gathering offerings to bring to the village's pond, where there once used to be a fairy. However, as the fairies disappeared, the future generations had forgotten them. Many simply refuse to believe that they exist, and they're merely stuck in fairy tales. Clover is different. Her pure heart and soul believe in fairies not only as a childish wish, but as her destiny. Alright, got this and got that. Everybody in the village should be out and about today, especially with it being the solstice. But I need 3 gifts to offer to the fairy. I bet I could get a gift from each of my friends here in town. Magnolia should have food. Oliver will have something unique. And Lewis will definitely have something shiny. Great! Now I have a plan. Let's get going. Oh, this is adorable. Okay, this one. This is the dog that leads out to the pond. No one usually goes here. Oliver told me that humans apparently don't have trouble in the water. But one wrong move for me and... well, I'd rather not think about it. The fairy should be sleeping around here somewhere. I'll need to make sure that I have everything I need before I attempt to go into the water. Okay, so that's where we have to go for the fairy. Shoo! Clover took a deep breath as she climbed up the rickety ladder into the top of the boot. Lewis, who lives here, in this giant human-sized boat, is also known as the town's genius. From a young age, he was disassembling gadgets and other items left behind by humans. While humans weren't even near when Lewis was born, the grounds around the village were once littered with goodies. Nowadays, he scavenged almost everything nearby, besides the occasional button or thimble. This keeps him busy, since he lives alone mostly, after his parents disappeared one day, without any explanation. Clover couldn't help but feel a little sorry for him, even if he was such a little brat to her. They had such a classic, almost sibling relationship, so she decided he might be able to let her borrow one of his precious treasures. Hello, Miss Clover. I could hear your loud feet all the way here. How can I help you? Nice to see you too, Lewis. I actually came to see if there was something I could borrow from you. Borrow? From me? What makes you think I'll let your stinky little hands touch my precious antiques? Because you're so kind and altruistic? Come on, Lewis. Surely you have something I can borrow. With all this shiny stuff, the fairy won't be able to resist it. You're still going on about that dumb fairy stuff? You tried last year, and the year before. It's not dumb. If you don't have anything, I'll leave. Fine, such a crybaby. Jeez. I suppose I could let you borrow something I won't miss. You mean it? Yeah. Now, let's go pick something before I change my mind. Lewis ran off into the back room, and Clover followed as close as she could. The room was starting to get a little cramped, so she assumed this was near the toe of the boot. While Lewis could fit in this small space, it definitely made Clover a little claustrophobic. Ow, my head! Watch your step. Now, let's see. As Lewis was searching for something in his large pile of junk, Clover observed her surroundings. The walls were dusty, but not necessarily filthy, and clutter was piled sky high. She couldn't help but notice a small area of the wall that was exposed and had several childlike drawings. There were many that showed a small boy with a large pointy ears and a woman, both titled Me and Mom. Each one pictured the boy and his mom in a field of flowers, or with the sun shining bright. You're awfully nosy, aren't you? Oh, sorry, Lewis. I just saw these drawings and, I think they're, good? Uh-huh, thank you. My artistic talent is beyond your comprehension. Sure. I'm glad that you're able to remember your mom. Yeah, me too. Have you found anything yet? Sorry, I don't mean to rush you. Yeah, everybody's in a rush nowadays. I need this, I need that. 1 second. Lewis dove into the pile of human buttons. These were everywhere around the village, but he had to manage pick up the best ones. Alright, which color? Brown or blue? Blue. I'll take the blue button, please. It's blue like the water, so I bet the fairy will like it. Alright, here you go. You better return it. If not, I'll bill you twice the amount I would charge for any other customer. Thanks again, Lewis. It really means a lot to me. You're just lucky that I'm feeling generous today. And good luck with that fairy stuff. Now scram. Lewis shooed Clover out of his home and out of the back door of his boot. Clover felt the weight of the button in her knapsack. It wasn't the largest button, but it was still very heavy. She knew that Lewis was a little hard-headed, but he had a good heart inside of him. She still had more gifts to get from her friends to gather, so there's no time to waste. Okay. Clover would smell the sweet scent of pastries wafting gently through the air as she entered a large dome-like bottle. She briefly closed her eyes to indulge in that feeling until the owner of the shop approached her. Hello there, welcome to... Clover, hello honey. What are you up to today? Come on in and make yourself at home. Hi, Miss Magnolia. Wow, it smells great in here. I'm actually here to see if you made anything special for the solstice. Made anything special? Hon, you should know that everything I make is already special. I'm teasing. What for? Is it for Oliver? Huh? Oh no, not this time. I actually need something to offer this year to put to the fairy shrine. And you make the best food. Oh, you're in that pit again, darling. Again? Yes, again. You know this means a lot to me. This time I'll really do it. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be so insensitive. What do y'all need? Maybe a slice of cake or delicious bread? Well, actually, I was thinking of using some of the fresh fruit you have. I know the strawberry plants are thriving this time of year, so that would be perfect. Strawberries, huh? They're pretty ripe, but awfully big. Why did I come up and help you pick a strawberry? It'll be fun. And the day's just starting. I've got some time before the shop officially opens. You mean it? It'll be easier with the two of us. Well, what you waiting for, Pumpkin? Let's get it moving. Clover and Magnolia made their way to the strawberry patch, which was located behind the bakery. The summer sun was stifling, but they found refuge in the occasional shade as they walked along the path. Magnolia's family has lived in this village for generations. They're the ones that brought the strawberry seeds from far away and cultivated them. It's up to Magnolia and her family, with some help from the townsfolk, to keep the strawberries healthy and growing to provide fruit for the village. Not only does she tend the crops, her family has a skill that's been passed down for generations. Crafting. It's rumored that humans once helped the Minima learn how to make flour and other baking items from natural resources. This makes Magnolia a crafter since she was taught to transform these plants into delicious food. Wow! Incredible, huh? The strawberries grew exceptionally well this year. I can tell. It's been a long time since I've been to this part of the strawberry patch. Ah, the smell of the strawberries is so sweet. And my earliest memories from here. Huh? Clover? What's wrong, Pumpkin? Oh, nothing, it's just... Coming to the strawberry patch reminds me of the times when my dad would take me here. Maybe that's why I don't come here very often. If at all, since... Oh, hon, I'm so sorry. I didn't think about that before I brought you here. But sometimes it's good for us to be reminded of our childhood. For example, I remember when your papa putting you up on the shoulders so you could just reach this one strawberry. I went out back because I heard so much racket. It was actually your laughter. You were always so happy when you were with your papa. At least you have these good memories, right? It's not your fault, Magnolia. It's been so long since he passed. But the feeling is still the same. It's beautiful yet bittersweet. I can't help but feel a little sad. My dad was really the only other person who truly believed in fairies, and read so many books to me about them. But I'm glad I have people like you in my life too. Aw, hon, you're just flattering me. I'm glad to have you too, Clover. We all are. It's true. I'll try and shake away the gloominess. Clover, you know you don't have to hide how you feel, especially around me. It's only natural that you feel still the grief. And there's so much love and effort put into these strawberries. Your dad was one of the ones that saved them while we had along the drought. Without him, there wouldn't be a patch to come back to. He'll always be here around us. So while you feel sad, be sure to enjoy the good times too. Things like that never disappear. Even better, why not make this a great memory too? What do you mean? Well, for starters, I ain't going to carry you on my back, but I can help you pick the best berry. And if you happen to summon that fairy, or whatchamacallit, you can come back and tell me how the strawberry world pick today helped turn your dream into a reality too. I'm sure that's what you want, and I know for a fact that's what your papa would have wanted from you too. You're so sweet and thoughtful, as always. Thanks for reassuring me. I can't change what's in the past, but I can change now how I approach things in the future. I'll always have my dad here with me in my heart. That's the spirit. You're stronger than you realize. Let's make the memory together in the same name of your papa. I know that he would be so proud of you, hon. Now, which strawberry do you want to pick? Smallest or the largest? The small berries are usually the tastiest ones. I think that I want to pick the smallest here. The smaller they are, the sweeter they taste. Yeah, exactly. I bet the fairy will be really happy with a sweet one she could munch on, assuming fairies eat like we do. The two looked around the patch for berries, lifting up each cluster of leaves to reveal more hiding underneath the bush. They did this to reveal several times, almost in unison, until they found the perfect cluster. Clover dipped down below the bush and grabbed a small strawberry with her petite hands. Since it's so small, she can carry it easily in her knapsack. As Clover held the berry in her hands, she looked up and could see the flowing clouds above her. She closed her eyes for a brief second, but it felt like forever. Her mind drifted off. In her head, she could hear the sound of her father's laughter, the sound of the leaves crunching slightly underneath his feet, the smile of his face when she got so excited to be close to the clouds, and all the happiness and sorrow in between. Magnolia chuckled at the girl lost in thought as she helped her get down to the ground. Clover gently landed her feet and shook away her daydreams. Hey, Magnolia? You think I could travel? As in travel outside the village, on my own? Well, I found that might be a strange question. You, Clover, you can do anything if you put your mind to it. I don't know anything about what's outside the village, but I know your papa did. If he can leave to gather food and resources, you have the right to leave yourself. But, you know I'd still miss you and worry about you every day. You're like a daughter I've never had. I'm always going to cheer you on. If you end up wanting to leave, make sure you say goodbye to us all and promise to come back one day. Oh, and don't forget to be safe. Maybe I could pack a few pastries. A super duper pinky promise on it. I'll hold you to that. The two talked the entire trip back to the bakery, exchanging stories of Clover's father to one another. Some funny, some sad, some sweet, and others absolutely absurd. Clover wanted to preserve the memory of her father and today in her head, because they both deserved to be remembered. She knew wherever she was, he was always there by her side. She still had more gifts from her friends to gather, so there's no time to waste. Alright, let's try this. Clover hopped gently onto each mushroom stair and made her way to the village's library. While it looked like the library was just a small flower house sitting on the top of a log, the books are strategically hidden underneath to protect them from the elements. This library may be small compared to other villages, but it's unique because it holds minima, archives, and ancient human books. The book is currently unreadable due to its illegible manuscript, but thankfully contains several pictures of wildflowers. Oliver, the librarian, devotes his heart and soul to this library. Even though he was born with pale skin and a perpetually runny nose, his flaws didn't deter him from his passion. He spends every day writing handcrafted, sewn books, which his grandfather taught him, and organizing the archives. When he's not busy with his work, he'll still write in his journal and record his daily findings and research. As Clover entered through the top door, a rush of memories came to her. She and Oliver had been friends since they were young. He was the one who gave Clover her first book about fairies. Though he didn't believe in them himself, he knew it meant a lot to her. There were many times where she came here for his herbal tea, only to spend hours talking about the world, plus their molehills. He shared the same aspirations as her, but simply didn't have the health to explore like she did. Oliver? Hello? Anybody home? Clover? Is that you? Hold on, I'll be right there. There was a sudden rustling sound, followed by what Clover could only assume were books falling over. Oliver soon emerged from his study with a wide smile. Oh, Oliver is really cute. Hello, Clover. What brings you here? I figured you would be out and about all day. Not like I didn't want you to be here, of course, but I am a little surprised. You know I couldn't pass up the opportunity to swing by. Oh. Okay, that was an accident. Actually, I came here to see if you could help me with something. Oh? What do you need? You know I have a vast knowledge about venomous bumblebees, or perhaps you'd like to learn more about the nutritional values of acorns? Not quite. Oh. I actually need to gather a special gift for the fairy. It's gotta be something special, or else my plan won't work. Oh, you're still... Never mind. Last year you only had one gift, so maybe 3 will actually do the trick. I've got it. Already? What is it? Well, it's not something I have right here at the moment. I was thinking of going to this new flower patch I found. Like, fairies like flowers, right? The flowers just bloomed. They're in the perfect place. That gives them the right amount of sunlight. That sounds perfect. We'll pick a few petals and see if that helps attract the fairy. What a great idea. Always happy to help. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go. Strung, as always. Oliver led Clover from the cozy library to the bright field. It took the pair a little while to heed Flower Path, but she knew it was worth the trek. As they traveled down a winding path, Clover looked up through the blades of grass and the sun, and shielded her eyes so she could see. The sight of it all reminded of her how small she was in the vast world. It was absolutely breathtaking. The sight alone filled her with more determination than anything has before. Not only will she be able to summon the fairy this year, but she might even be able to prove it. Oliver looked back and noted the determined look on Clover's face. He couldn't help but chuckle to himself a little. He admired her strong willpower, determination, and wonderful personality. Oliver shook his head once he felt himself drifting off into thought. He usually does this on walks, but it would certainly be rude to do with some company. We're almost there, I promise. Clover merely smiled at him, enjoying the journey before the destination. After they walked a little further down the path, they came to a larger clearing. Oliver pushed through the bush, revealed an eternal sight. Oh my goodness! Beneath them was a plethora of blue and purple wildflowers, gently swaying in the breeze. Clover had never seen anything like it. The flowers around the village were pink and yellow, not blue and purple. Her mouth was hanging open in pure awe. Oliver, this is amazing! If this doesn't attract the fairy, I don't know what will. I'm glad you think so. This past spring I saw a new bird make a nest around here, so it must have carried some seeds from far away. At least that's the only logical explanation I could think of. Really? Thanks for taking me over here, Oliver. Let's pick out one of these flowers, together. The two rolled down the side of the slope and began looking around for the best flower to pick. The flora towered above the two like pillars, creating a dreamlike refraction of when Clover peered at them. At last, Clover and Oliver came to a circle where the flowers were smaller, but still fully bloomed. Which flower should she pick? Blue. Clover reached up to the nearest blue flower and gently picked off a few petals. As she stared at them, Clover swore they glittered like gemstones. She wrapped them up in some spare paper Oliver had found and kept them in her personal knapsack. There, that's perfect. Nature is truly unpredictable and full of new surprises. Exactly, what's the matter, Oliver? Oh, it's nothing. I just wish we could stay in forever. Well, I think I can spare a few minutes. Why don't we sit here together? Really? Of course! We came all the way out here, didn't we? Why not enjoy the scenery? Alright, I definitely won't argue. Clover brushed away some of the dirt and grass and sat down on a pile of fallen petals. Oliver quickly joined her, but decided to lay down instead. Hey, Oliver? What is it, Clover? Do you actually believe I'll summon the fairy? Do you think there are other places like this? Huh, that's a tough question. But statistically speaking, there very well could be. What do you mean by could be? Well, I'm not sure exactly, since I've never really been out of the village myself. From what the books I've read today, there's definitely a lot more out there. The grass that we live on makes up only a small fraction of what the world is. And between you and me, my grandfather told me once how he read about this thing called space. Space? It's sort of like, imagine a tiny circle within another one, and so on. There's more than just our world out there. Actually, there's an entire galaxy. At least that's what the human book said. Galaxies? My head hurts. Well, it's about time we head back. I guess we should. Oh, Clover? What is it? I have something on my face? No, I have something to tell you. Huh? Actually, never mind. I don't want to keep you too long. You've got a fairy to find. Alright, if you say so. Thanks for your help, Oliver. With that being said, Oliver and Clover made their way back to the library. Clover said her goodbyes and headed out into the village once more. She finally gathered 3 gifts. The ferry should be near the pond, so it's time to head to the dock. Hey! Alright, I finally have everything I need to offer to the ferry. 1 strawberry, some flower petals, a shiny button. Gosh, I really hope this is enough. The last few years, I only brought 1 offering. Before that, I just rowed out to the middle of the water and waited until the sunset. No, I can't think negatively. This will work. It has to work. Clover took a deep, heavy breath and loaded her knapsack into the leaf boat. Thankfully, it was sturdier than it looked, since it had multiple leaves woven on top of one another. The sun was starting to lower itself into the horizon. The air grew cooler with each passing minute. Using a nearby branch as a paddle, Clover pushed herself out into the water towards the lily pads cluttered in the center. The water beneath was gentle, carefully carrying her across the water. Sunlight shimmered and bounced off the ripples of water as she crossed. Suddenly, a cool breeze blew through her, sending chills down her spine. Still, she persisted onwards. After a few minutes of rowing through the lily pad, Clover finally arrived at her destination. The lily pads and flowers danced in the sunlight, creating a rainbow like glows and around everything. The books, the fireside stories, and even her father all describe this moment. As the sun hits the water, the middle of the lake is where the fairies like to sleep. Wow! It looks just as beautiful as before, but there's something almost magical in the air. Dad, I hope you're proud of me. Even if I'm so stupid and childish, and still believe in the stories that you told me so I would fall asleep. Who am I kidding? Look at me, I'm stuck in the middle of this water with all these gifts from my friends. Yeah, my friends. Even if Louis is such a brat, he can be pretty kind when he wants to be. And Magnolia, he's so kind. He's never let me go hungry. And Oliver, he's never made me feel alone. I guess it was still fun in the end. Suddenly, just as soon as Clover drifted off into thought, she felt something move down underneath her. What the? Oh ho 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 ho! White and blue light burst through the surface of the dark water, nearly blinding Clover. She fell back into the boat, completely shocked. Clover could barely believe her eyes when she looked forward. Brady! Oh ho ho, my dear Clover, finally! You've helped me wake up from my slumber. Clover was utterly amazed. Before her floated a magnificent fairy, in the flesh. She shook her head, pinched her arm, and splashed some water in her face. She couldn't comprehend this. Are you real? Who are you? Who am I, you ask? I'm the guardian fairy of your village and this pond, Jetel. Jetel? That's correct. You were finally able to see me, Clover. What do you mean? How can you possibly know my name? I've been watching you over since you were a little girl. I could feel it in the air when you were born here. Something shifted within nature itself. You, were born with such a pure soul, stronger than the average Manima. A pure soul? Yes, us fairies were sent into deep slumber long ago to protect ourselves. I assume there are others like me who have forgotten how to wake up. But ever since you were small, I could hear your sweet voice in my head. I heard you when you were happy, when you were sad. I heard the way you talked about fairies, how you never gave up on your dreams. Every year you would come out here and talk to the wind. Even if it didn't seem like anyone was here, I was deep within the water, listening. Isn't it wonderful? You're the one that brought me back, Clover. When you came out here, well, you didn't know it. You were bringing my soul closer and closer to the surface. To be honest, I felt lost until you came along. While I could feel your father's desire to see fairies, he wasn't committed like you were. I mean, how could he? He was trying to raise a beautiful daughter. You heard my dad? I did. Clover, he loved you so much. Everyone loves you, Clover. That's one of the reasons how you helped me. Your love for your friends and father pulled me out of my sleep. And I can't thank you enough. I think you're ready to fulfill your dream now. What do you mean? Is it already my dream? True, but I mean your ultimate dream. The one you've been telling me for so many years. You're finally ready to go out on your own. Experience what this world has to offer. What do you mean? I don't think I'm ready. Or am I? Clover, my dear, you've been ready. However, there's one thing I need from you before you can go on your adventures. As a tiny water fairy, my magical abilities are limited, but I can still use some of the energy you gave me to craft you something. Craft me something? A necklace filled with my mana, for protection. I just need a piece of you to make it. Let's see. Why not your hair? My hair? Sure, that's what you'll need. I can't argue. Clover unwrapped her ribbon, which her father had made for her, and allowed the strands to fall past her shoulders. Like this? Perfect. Now, hold very still. Here goes nothing. Clover closed her eyes tightly and felt the lower half of her hair fall off her head. There wasn't the sound of scissors or a knife to cut her hair, but merely the sound of the water splashing up against her boat. Well, what do you think, Miss Clover? I don't think I did a bad job. Clover watched as the hair in Jatel's hands disappeared, a blast of glitter. Well, at least from what I see, with my reflection, I don't think it looks bad. It'll grow back anyway. I kind of like it like this, though. So breezy. Great. And now, as promised, where Clover's hair just was in Jatel's dainty palm, now appeared a small necklace. The chain was a shiny silver with a bright green four-leaf clover charm in the middle. This is a special necklace, Clover. It's crafted by love, so you'll always have your friends and family with you. That's amazing! I'll wear it and keep it safe, like how it will do the same for me. That's the spirit. Now, I need to rest once more, but do come back to visit me. I hope you take this chance to leave your humble village and travel across the world as far as you can see. Who knows, maybe you'll be able to wake up other fairies. Anything is possible with you, Clover. With that, Clover felt Jatel fly over, gently kiss her on the forehead. The next thing she knew, Clover woke back up at the dock, with her knapsack empty. Wow, what a crazy day! And it must have really happened because my hair is still short. I wouldn't have it any other way. And Dad, if you're listening, just like the fairy did, I hope you're super proud. I made your dream come true, and now it's time for me to make mine happen too. And I promise I'll visit. Maybe I'll bring some new friends back with me. Who knows? Clover took a deep breath and headed back to the village. She needed to pack and say goodbye to everybody. Start her new adventure. Aww, this was really cute and wholesome. I hope you enjoyed it too. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Goodbye.